Ah, football, the beautiful game. Beautiful when it's not being sold off by billionaires, but most of the time, it's the beautiful game. It's hard to deny that football hasn't been a global force for change, with football in particular hitting the headlines very often whenever big major events come up like the World Cup. So big in fact, that the Brazilian football player Pele once effectively stopped a civil war from occurring, all in the name of football. Hello! Welcome to Brain Spill, the laziest show on the internet. My name is Tank, and Pele. Yep, I'm going to get all those Brazilian viewers in here, so I need to make sure that I get that name in as many times as I can. So yes, anyone that has an ounce of knowledge about football knows who this man is. Pele has 3 World Cup wins under his belt, thousands of goals scored, and all-around national hero himself. Commonly regarded as one of the greatest football players of all time, you might be surprised to find out that he's actually a better peacekeeper than the UN is. Well, in 1967, there just so happened to be a civil war going on in Nigeria, of all places. This was between the federal government and the state of the Republic of Biafra. The reason they were in conflict simply came down to the desire for the Igbo people of Biafra to secede from Nigeria with the hopes that their goals and aspirations can be seen due to the fact that the northern part of the state was not representing their interests. So, what do you do if a part of your country wants to secede from you and gain their own independence? Well, there's only one real answer to that. Brutal government crackdown, that's right. That's the only way to sort this very prickly issue. The conflict was not just a small skirmish by any means, as this civil war raged on for over 3 years, leading to violence up and down the country. The real difficulty that people faced was the imposed blockade around the Biafra region by the federal government, ensuring that the citizens were subjected to famine and extreme poverty. There were approximately 100,000 military deaths, with between 500,000 and 2 million civilians dying of starvation. Yes, that should just give you a scope as to how serious this actually was and how many people were affected by these government crackdown rules. This, of course, was disastrous, and something else which would make the peace process even harder to get is that the areas in Nigeria are very fragmented based off different cultures and ethnicities, meaning that for everybody to come together under a single cause is probably not the easiest thing to do, trying to find a common factor amongst everybody, something for people to get behind. If only there was something or someone who could bridge the gap and try and bring these people together, in particular for very, very hard times like this. Someone who might, I don't know, a famous footballer maybe. Yes, things would soon change when Pele arrived in Nigeria. This was part of a world tour being undertaken, as at this time Pele already had 2 World Cup wins under his belt. Eyeing up a 3rd title for his country, he of course was very well respected and much loved around the world, which made sense for him to do a world tour, as pretty much any football fan would love to watch Pele play some football. And because this is a world tour, Africa was part of the tour, in particular with games scheduled in the Congo, Mozambique, Ghana, Algeria and Nigeria. Yes, this tour well and truly lived up to the name of a world tour, not like many people that do a world tour where they do about 20 dates in the US, about 3 dates in Europe, and then screw the rest of the world, or they might just do 1 or 2 dates in Australia or Japan and call it a day. No, he was well and truly doing a world tour, and even visiting a lot of these places which people might not expect such a big icon to go to, such as Nigeria. And yes, if something like this could bring some peace to an area, nowhere needed it more at this time than Nigeria themselves. Pele landed in Nigeria for their first game against the Nigerian national team, known as the Green Eagles. So, we have a country that's been ravaged by a brutal civil war, and even if something like this can bring some momentary peace to the area, then I think a lot of people would be behind that. Knowing that Pele would be coming to their country, the 2 sides agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire to allow people to safely go to the game and return home without fear of being attacked or, well, being wrapped up in this civil war. The security for the event was actually made up of the security from both sides of the conflict, 2 sides who would normally be in conflict against each other, naturally. They came together to provide security for people to safely go to this football match and hopefully just enjoy themselves. Because right now, that's what I think a lot of people would probably have needed, living throughout such a brutal, brutal system. These officers lined the streets and around the Lagos Stadium, armed and ready. Not to fight though, but for the purposes of peace. Everyone who went to the game could enjoy the football game for what it was without fear of being pulled into the civil war, even for the briefest of moments. It is safe to say that people can put aside their differences for such an event, as there was no reported violence in the match or around the stadium. The game ended in a draw, and it was not only a great opportunity to go and see your national team play, but also see one of the greatest footballers of all time in the flesh. You can literally see him on the pitch running around with the ball, which is pretty cool. And well, it seemed to go off without a hitch. People came, they watched the game, and they were able to go home knowing that hopefully things would be okay. And well, from this point, after the tour moved on, the tides did unfortunately return to their old ways and the civil war commenced once more. Although this unfortunately happened, it's hard to say that one man is ever able to end a civil war with such deep ethnic, cultural and political divisions. No, of course not, and I don't think anybody was expecting him to. But it just goes to show how some good can come out of something like this, even in the briefest time to bring people together. Now, I do have to say that during my research there were differing accounts as to how long this ceasefire actually held out for, and if it truly was for 48 hours, but at the very least what we know is that during the game there wasn't any issues. There was relative peace at the time. And I guess that's better than nothing, so whichever way you cut it, at the very least there was some peace during this game of football. Pele is not the only footballer who has ever had a peacekeeping bone in their body, however, as Drogba managed to also halt a civil war. I'm saying this like it's such a normal thing for footballers to do, like it's part of their job description. Drogba, a footballer from the Ivory Coast, was in contention to qualify for the 2006 World Cup, so truly on the cusp of greatness. At home, however, Ivory Coast was, yes, you guessed it, going through a civil war. A war which started in 2002, where the government was in conflict with a rebel faction known as the New Forces of Ivory Coast. Fighting was sporadic but would flare up every now and again, persisting for quite a long time, which is unfortunate because if your country's going through a civil war, I mean, how truly safe can you feel when something might flare up at any time? And again, like in Nigeria, there's many factors which would cause a deep division between people in the country, and it would be very difficult to find something to bring everybody together. Well, maybe except football. They found this in their country's qualification to the World Cup, bringing people together after a plea by the players to put down their weapons and come together. And this was the perfect cause to do that. There is a lot more to this story, and it may very well be a video topic all of its own in the future, but I think that's pretty much all the time we have for today, as I think it's going to give you a taster as to what good can come out of something like this. And at the very least, it goes to show that being able to run around and kick a ball into a net can have such wider ramifications for peace around the world, which is not something that you'd ever think of, but for a lot of people, it can really make a big difference. If you like the video, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to be notified as soon as I upload my next video, be sure to hit the bell button. And if you've got any ideas for what topics you'd like me to discuss next, let me know down in the comments below. As always, sources used in the video will be in the description. So the thing to take away from this video is that if you ever have a problem, football might be the answer. So I might just call FIFA, see if I can get a few players loaned, and I don't know, kick a ball around for a few hours. Let's see what happens. I'll see you guys in the next video. Fantastic.